Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another album review. My name is Christian Eschbach. Hi, everyone. Continuing along with Black Sabbath, Anno Domini, 1989 to 1995. Now, this is a special set I bought that contains 4 albums. 4 of the 5 Tony Martin albums. I don't have Eternal Idol. I'm going to have to get my hands on that so I can review it still. But this includes Headless Cross, Tier, Cross Purposes, which is today's discussion. And next will be Forbidden before I get into reviewing the set itself. Okay, so Black Sabbath had a really good thing going with Headless Cross and Tier. Really good thing going. Really good band going for them, working really well. Then there was a decision to get back together with, we're going to call it the Heaven and Hell group, okay? So we're going to take out Cozy Powell, and I do not remember who the bassist was on Tier. It was a session musician on the on Cross Purposes, or I mean on Headless Cross. For Cross Purposes, we've got Tony Martin back on vocals again. We've got obviously Aomi, Bobby Bondinelli on drums, Jeff Nichols on keyboards, and Geezer Butler on bass. So the Heaven and Hell group got back together. They released the the Dehumanizer album, which I've covered. I do know that in some of the notes it was specifically said that Ronnie specifically wanted Vinny Appice or Appice, or I'm not sure how we're pronouncing it. He wanted Vinny anyways back on drums doing what we'll refer to as the Heaven and Hell lineup. And that means that Tony had to let go of Cozy Powell, which I think is a bit of a shame. Bobby Rondinelli does the job on here for drums, but he's not Cozy Powell. Cozy Powell definitely is more of a appropriate replacement for Bill Ward within Black Sabbath, having that jazz appreciation and background. You don't hear that so much on this album. This album felt a little more. I definitely like this album a lot more than the Dehumanizer album. And for that reason, following up after Dehumanizer, I think it's a better album that way. But following up after the 2 previous Tony Martin albums, so what we've got is we got Eyewitness, which opens up the album. It opens up the album really nice and strong. Actually, I really kind of get into Eyewitness. And that's I as in the letter I, witness. As in eyewitness something, not an eyewitness to something. That one's really enjoyable. Cross of Thorns follows that up, and I get into Cross of Thorns. I dig on that one when it's going. Psychophobia, I kind of blip out on. Then you get to Virtual Death, and Virtual Death is probably the first song on the album that I noticeably enjoy and had to make sure to memorize the name of the song too. I really kind of dug into Virtual Death, and because that whole virtual reality thing and getting into all that type of stuff was becoming a really big deal. It had already been explored on, I believe, the Dehumanizer album even. A lot of bands were exploring that. The internet was new, stuff like that. So Virtual Death being a thing that's explored here is really kind of interesting and whatnot. And I really do dig it and enjoy it in here. I thought it was really good. Immaculate Deception, I don't mind it. Dying for Love, that one wasn't bad. I didn't mind Dying for Love. Really kind of dug that one. Back to Eden, not bad. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. This one's a little more straightforward, but I really kind of dug it. It's got a good chorus to it. Really kind of grabbed me in, took me in. Cardinal Sin, not bad. Evil Eye, I really kind of got into that one. And What's the Use finishes out the album. And I was kind of the two previous albums I've covered so far, What's the Use has got to be the weakest closing to any of the albums. I felt the two previous albums I've covered in this set definitely covered that better. The whole way around, this album's a little more like Tear, where it's definitely more of an album. Like I really enjoy listening to the album itself. It's not as good as Tear that way, though. This one's a little more. You can feel some of the grunge influence coming in on this one. I don't remember which song it was. I want to say maybe it was Immaculate Deception. Really, all of a sudden, had me thinking Alice in Chains. I don't remember though off the top of my head. I should have wrote down notes. That's what happens. This album though, coming out in what was it, 95 I believe it was? 94. Definitely grunge influence. But the one track in there where there was a little grunge influence, and like I said, I think it's Immaculate Deception. I really should have made sure to pay a little more attention to that one. You can hear it's kind of like a full circle thing, because the one time it happens on this album, you can hear how Black Sabbath influenced Alice in Chains influencing Black Sabbath. Full circle on that one. Tony Martin, really, wow. I gotta say, 3 albums in, dude is really underappreciated as a vocalist. And in the great pantheon of Sabbath, really kind of underappreciated as well. At this point, I haven't gotten to hear Tony doing songs from any of the other previous musicians. I don't have any comparison to, how he sounds doing. I imagine he's going to sound magnificent doing Dio. There's just no way he's not going to sound good doing Dio. No idea how he sounds on actual Sabbath songs. I'm going to have to do that, I think, for when I get to the end of this box set. Not actual, Ozzy songs, not actual Sabbath songs. That being said, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning. I am one of those people that really didn't give Black Sabbath a fair shake after Ozzy, because I considered myself a Black Sabbath purist. And I am discovering over time that was definitely the wrong mentality to have. And there was definitely some good albums I missed out on. At the end of the day, would I recommend this album? Okay, so if you're collecting Black Sabbath and you're getting into Sabbath and you want to be a Sabbath completionist, definitely get this one. For the Tony Martin era, realistically, I'll cover this when I actually get to reviewing this. I do very much enjoy the set, and I would recommend, if you can get the set, because to me it's worth it. But the album itself, I don't know. Part of me really wants to recommend the album, because like I said, there are some choice cuts on here. I personally really dug on Virtual Death. I really kind of dug on Dying for Love. And The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. And the rest of the album is really worth listening to. It's a solid album. I don't like the way it ends. That'd be my biggest complaint. But I don't know if I would really go out of my way to recommend the album. Like, to go out and buy it on its own. Buy it as part of the set, most definitely. Buy it on its own, I don't know. Headless Cross, for sure. Tear, even. But this one, I think mistakes were made getting back together with the Heaven and Hell lineup. And I really think I would have liked to have seen how they would have capitalized more off of the success of the Tear album. I also really would have liked to have seen Cozy Powell, and I do not remember the name of the bassist off of wow, brain just went Tear, the bassist off Tear. I wish I had that right now. But the Tear lineup, that full lineup, I really would have liked to have seen them keep going. That was a really good lineup with a really good album and whatnot. And well, I would say that this might even have more pop out songs than Tear. Or more commercially viable singles than Tear. I really do believe that Tear is still the better album. But this is better than Dehumanizer. I'm going to say that hands down. Anyways, folks, those are my thoughts and my opinions. Let me know what you think. That's what the comments section is for. I am interested. I always read the comments, see what people say. On your way down there, there's a like button, a subscribe button, and bell for notifications. If you could hit all those buttons, those help me out. Those help you out. In the comments, you're going to see some links. Feel free to click on those as well. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.